Comes that soul patch, it's all right with me.
Yeah.
All right, we should be live. How's it going, everybody? Sorry for the crazy long wait right there. Fatal was having cam issues, and then I had to line up everything, and we're playing musical boxes on the layout. Like, it was fun. But we're good to go now, just going to run with it. Tonight, I have joining me Waldo, working over at G-Con. Arctic, as always, Fatal Strike again, and Immortal Spawn, as you know him from Raw Talent. And we're just going to start off talking about the initial thoughts and concerns about, Gao Judgment and how we think it's all going to work out in the long run. So whoever wants to start off can get it going.
I don't want to start.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's talk about everybody's launch night story or something like that. I'll share mine first, kind of getting the off the get-go. Well, first of all, I didn't get a beta code, so I missed out on all that fun. Never received one from GameStop. So I go there and, I feel like the guy's joking with me when he says there's no midnight release, but apparently not enough reserves in my area. So I didn't end up hopping on until about Tuesday after work at like 5 p.m. So that's my launch night story. The saddest of the Gears series, I grabbed all the other Gears pretty early, so this was the latest I got mine. But on the positive note, I'm having a good time with it so far. So how about you guys?
I went to the Microsoft store. I reserved it there. I competed in a 1v1 tournament there, and I won. I went with Vicious, and we met. I don't know if you guys remember him. Sniper 44 there. So he's an old school player. He teamed with Terra Deadly back in the day, so that was fun. For winning, they gave me an Xbox, a 3-month gift card, so like 3,200 Microsoft points, and some other stuff. So it was pretty cool, I guess. I would show off the shirt that they gave me. So I'm currently black.
You could just describe it for us.
It's just a Gears of War Judgment shirt they gave me. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. But it was a good time. I enjoyed myself, and it was a really well ran tournament too, surprisingly. And even though we were playing on big TVs and everything, it wasn't that laggy. So it was pretty cool. And yeah, it's pretty much my launch story.
Mine was kind of depressing. I had work, so I had done stuff with Gears 3 and did a big launch campaign, did the whole worldwide thing, and then this time I was kind of like working the entire night shift just watching people's streams from work, so I had it shipped to me from GameStop, but I was with Immortal. I got lucky and had somebody else give me a demo code, but yeah, GameStop never sent me one, so, GameStop sucks.
Yeah, that's pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
I went to Walmart, I drove over to Walmart at like 12 o'clock. No lines, grabbed mine, walked away. That's it.
Yeah, just in and out real fast.
Just in and out, 2 minutes. Literally, I walked back there. They were just taking it off the crates. Guy was like, "What are you here for? Gears of War Judgment?" He was like, "Oh, we got that." Handed me my my case, and then I paid for it and left.
Yeah, mine wasn't anything special. I just went to GameStop, right the door, like 10 minutes before midnight, got it, came back. Nothing fancy.
I feel like there's always a good story about that time when you pick up the game. Like you just anticipate that moment so much when you're just waiting for the game to come out, and then I don't know, it's always exciting. So those moments stick out for me.
I did have a guy who I thought was also getting the game, but apparently The Hobbit came out. It's like this big dude, and it was like he was there before me, and so the guy's taking out the stuff, and so he's like, "What are you here for?" And I was expecting him to say Gears Judgment, and he was like, "The Hobbit Limited Edition." I was like,
What?
"Whoa!" So yeah, that was
Yeah,
it.
it was pretty sad because I went to the Halo 4 release at this one. There's about 50 people. I went to the Black Ops 2 release. There was over 100 people, and to not even have a midnight release for this Judgment, I'm like, come on, really? Like,
Yeah,
but
GameStop.
those Microsoft stores. I have a question because Joe, you said, you went to these. Are these like starting to pop up more?
Yeah, this one opened up 6 months ago. I randomly was just walking around the mall and then I saw it and I was like, wait, hold up, let me go, check this out. I was like, obviously they have Xbox and everything. It's a Microsoft store. And then the guy told me, he was like, yeah, well, if you pre-order the game, not only do we give you 1,600 Microsoft points, they give you the Alex character from the comic books and the Hammerburst code. So I was like, well, I get all that just for pre-ordering it. I was like, it's pretty much a free team pass. I mean, the season pass, right? So they gave me all that just for doing that, and then they held the tournament, and then there was about a good, I'd say, 40 to, I don't know, for like around 40 people for the tournament. So it was fun. A lot of them were kids, just like mostly like kids and like young teenagers and stuff that were playing. And then yeah, the only two people I knew there were the staff, and then Joey and Sniper. So it was fun. It was a good time.
Why don't you talk about that tournament? Curious. I mean, you're one of the few people that actually won a Gears Judgment tournament so far. So, did you end up playing Vicious like towards the end, or how'd that work? Was it just one free for all?
Actually, the way it worked, I mean, I went through the tournament. I think I went through 7 rounds, and in the beginning, I just played a couple of kids. Like one of the kids I was playing in the beginning, I was teaching him the game as we were playing. It was just fun. We were just joking around. And then Vicious, I think he played. What was it, Sniper 44, like towards the end of the tournament, like I think it was semifinals, and he lost to him. And then Sniper played me in the finals, and when we played in the finals, he wanted to because you could grab any weapon, so we were playing on rigged the whole time. So I never saw the map. I never saw the map up until that point. But
did you hop in the chopper?
No, I didn't. I was honestly just a jerk. I mean, I grabbed Boom. I was a jerk. Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, because that's what everybody was doing. So then when I played Sniper, he was like, yo, let's make it. They switched it to Library. And then there's a Boom on that too. So me and Sniper were like, what are we going to do? We're going to just fight for Boom the whole time? And then he was like, no. Let's do shotguns only the whole time, nothing else. And then I was like, okay, cool. I'm down with that. So we did shotguns only. It was first to 10. And I beat him, I think, like 10-4. But it was a good time. I had fun.
Thanks for that, Yuli.
It's a great time.
But yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, they gave me a lot of stuff, so I was surprised to get that much stuff on a launch date. I didn't even know what the prize was going into it, so it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so you guys want to talk a bit about the game, obviously, like what everybody's thinking at first, what you're seeing, because I'm seeing a lot of tweets about people trying to ban stuff already.
Everyone's saying that because of my stream.
Yeah, I mean, the game's been out one day. I haven't even seen a scrim. I mean, I think people have tried to scrim. It's too soon.
I scrimmed with the guys from Throwdown and a few of the other guys for about, I'd say, 4 to 6 hours the day it came out. But we were just testing things out, like just seeing what works, what doesn't work, what feels nice, what doesn't feel nice. And, we're all like mixing up the rifles, all the different nades and seeing what works. And to be honest, I was absolutely shocked with how, pretty well balanced the rifles are and how great the shotgun is. I don't know how you guys feel. But I actually really liked, the way the weapons are currently. I mean, the retro is a lot weaker than it was during Gal 3. It's not that bad with the poke as bad. Like when they run and they poke you and then they shoot you. And then, whatchamacallit, in regards to the Hammerburst, it has a lot of recoil, but it's not that crazy. So it was pretty awesome. The only thing that was a little crazy when we were scrimming was the way people were starting to abuse the stims was getting a little nuts. But it was definitely a good time. I definitely enjoyed it.
Okay.
Your guys' thoughts on the game so far?
You guys are just going in a circle. I know Rob or Waldo, you want to go next?
I haven't gotten as much time as it. I think I got the most time this morning. I got to play a little bit yesterday with Aussie and Pete, and just kind of go through it on Team Deathmatch and kind of seeing the elements and look at the maps. Because I haven't touched the game since PAX Prime, so I only know what Free for All was the last thing that I played. And some of the a lot of the I was trying to get the Hammerburst or the classic Hammerburst unlocked, but my Xbox jacked that up, so I had to go and re-download it and finally get to play with it today. And just the overall balance with everything seems a lot better. I've liked how I'm a big fan of the freedom of movement thing, so it gives gameplay wise you have so many options to do other things and how you want to evade and how you approach your targets, and it's something that you haven't had in the other Gears games. Like you had an X and Y axis, and you had to run straight at them, and you didn't have the option of like jumping off a building, or you didn't have an option of like dropping down and cutting back around on somebody and getting the flanks and stuff. So I like that kind of element from it. And it took me like a little while to get readjusted to the shotgun because it's kind of got like a little bit of a drag on it where you've got to kind of sweep it across your screen. So like this morning when I played a bunch of free-for-all, like I finally got the hang of it again. And just from that, like I guess the elements that I like, I love just how the movement works. I love how it's balanced, and it never seems like you're spawning. You never seem like you're spawning on top of anybody except for like your opening part of the match. So those are things that I think are good, and I haven't really gotten test domination out yet. So
Ooh, you might change your mind on spawning after you play domination.
I knew that one was coming. I was waiting to say it.
Yeah.
I guess with that, I'll start. I'm trying not to take up too much time because I've talked a lot about this the last like 24 hours. But the game is pretty damn good, and I think a lot of people that had their doubts, at least from the competitive scene, or see the potential. I think they see the potential that I saw in the game. Gameplay aside, because I think gameplay is really good. Shotgun, there's a lot of people kind of upset right now or saying that the shotgun is inconsistent. Again, I think the Gears 1 guys are like, it's not really that inconsistent. It's just, it's back to center screen. So it's like, once you get that feel back, you know exactly, where you need to place your shots. And everyone else, which was Gears 2 and Gears 3 guys, they're kind of like, oh, the shotgun's broken. It's so inconsistent. Oh, I can't hit shit. I'm point blanking them. It's like you're lining up your shots wrong. You know what I mean? So that's a big time hit on those guys because they joined the game late, so they don't know what it was like prior to. The other thing is that in terms of like stems and grenades and stuff, I kind of feel like the stem can be kind of strong, but what I started doing was just using inks, and it seems like, and this is just from my initial impressions, that it really negates it, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I just need to see it more in action. But I think probably the most atrocious thing right now is the return of the two-piece.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I don't like, I'm just gonna say I don't like melee very much in any game that's a shooter, because we're not playing fucking Street Fighter. So I don't really like melee in shooters because the games are usually about weapons, and so when you make it to the point where it's about melee, to me that throws the game off. Like, you're not gonna fucking realistically die from somebody punching you, like especially with an elbow. Like, it's just not realistic to me in that regard. So the viability of using a melee should always be last resort, always in shooters. And Gears 3 got it right. That's why people were complaining with Gears 1 and Gears 2. Gears 1 was really bad because you could wall bounce in melee at the same time. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Wavis used to do that shit all the time. So you could wall bounce in melee, and that's where it got really offensive, and the people were like, man, melee is just ridiculous. And then Gears 2, you had that long stun afterwards, and you just get ripped. Cali North used to do that a lot to people.
Say the least.
But I think did they end up patching it in Gears 2 at some point?
Yeah,
I felt like they patched it because they were like, okay, you guys are right. It's terrible. And then Gears 3, it was fixed. It was like, okay, you guys listen to us in Gears 2. You patched it. Got fixed in Gears 3. And then you come back to Gears Judgment after 2 games where people were complaining about melee, and then you make it, I mean, just as viable as it was before. It's like, man, what? I don't know. And it's something that the playtest, you know what? I got so untrained out of using melee in Gears 3 that at the playtest, I didn't even try to melee. Even at PAX when I was playing free-for-all, I didn't really try to melee. That was in September. And then at the playtest that was in August. At the playtest in October, I still didn't try to melee because it just wasn't something I was expecting. So once people got in game and they were like, boom, shot, it was like, oh no, it's going to spread like wildfire. It's going to spread. And sure enough, less than 24 hours later, people were complaining about the two-piece again. So that's probably the most atrocious gameplay-wise thing that I have to say on the game. Hammer Burst, you can thank some of us for that change, for that extra little bit of recoil. It's still very viable, but someone made sure to make sure that shit wasn't abused again. That's all I'm gonna say. Someone made sure that shit got nailed, and if it comes back in Gears 4 or whatever, don't blame me. I tried to fix that shit.
Well, I kind of laughed when we were when that person was talking about it, and he's just like, "Yeah, we changed that." Like back at PAX, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna fix that. Don't worry."
The other thing I guess is movement. Now, in my opinion, movement in Gears Judgment is probably the best I've ever seen in the Gears game. Just the responsiveness, the controls feel tight. And I'm playing on alternate, and I had a few gripes with Gears 3 on alternate, but on Judgment, it feels really good. I think the biggest thing that's kind of thrown me off with movement is the layout of the maps, and then falling sometimes. It's like you don't know what paths you can take until you try it, and there's so many different paths. It's like trying to get used to that. Like, oh, okay, I'm moving forward. Oh, yeah, I can go behind me and fall off right here, and you're engaged in someone, they hurt you, and then boom, you turn around real quick and you fall off. Like, that hasn't clicked with me yet. But for the most part, wall bouncing feels smooth. Coming on and off of cover feels smooth. Like, that doesn't feel as sticky. The roadie run feels fantastic. And part of that is probably because fucking stopping power is gone. Thank God stopping power is gone. So I think that's why we see so many, I guess, the weapon balance is there because stopping power is gone, and they decided to, again, I think Colin and I kind of mentioned this yesterday when we were talking about Judgment, the competitive community really pushed to get rid of active reload damage just because of the inconsistencies it led to in gameplay. And I think that across the board has led to a much better balanced game for Gears of War, and especially with all the inclusion of this whole loadout system and being able to see all these different weapons in at once. Rifle-wise, like the only gun I don't really like is probably the classic Hammer Burst, but that's just me. And obviously, I'm not going to pick the Sawed Off. I just don't like it. But I haven't chose the Retro Lance or anything like that. But that's pretty much it for me. That's all I can. Oh, we'll get to the other stuff because I got a lot to say about all the other stuff. That's initial thoughts.
In regards of the shotgun, I don't know how much you guys have been using it, but they started implementing some of the GAL 1 shots back. So since I'm like a GAL 1 diehard, it's pretty awesome. Like when you pull off a cover, put the shot around the cover.
You can thank Predator.
Yeah. So thank you, Gabe. I'm very happy to see that back. So that's absolutely awesome. In regards to what you were going on about movement, that was like something I really focused on when I was playing like Gears 3, like trying to get my movement better. And in regards of playing, you could still like B cancel. So I don't know, like with Gears 3, if you guys remember, like if you hit a cover, you'd see like ribs all the time. He would like hit a cover, and when he had left hand, he would melee to get off the cover quickly, and then he could quickly move and just get all around, like move around the map very, very effectively. And that's still in the game. So I was happy to see that return. And then in regards to the shotgun, I just think it's overall a lot better, and the rifles are the most balanced we've ever seen. So competitive-wise or gameplay, I think this game has massive potential if we could just get good settings and then figure out what we're going to do in regards to loadouts and maps and game types, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys said. There's a weird movement glitch I noticed. You kind of like slide in place. Have you guys noticed that?
If you're moving too fast, if you're wall bouncing too fast, it like grabs you and you're in this weird animation. I noticed that. Yeah. Yeah,
it's like more like an animation flicker than anything. I don't think it really affects the actual movement. And to piggyback on the melee, like if your movement is top notch, I mean, even just like a double melee is like incredibly powerful right now. I'm someone who just run around with the Hammer Burst or Lancer and just melee, wall bounce, melee, and you die right now. Like, I mean, I love it. It's super fast paced, but I can see why. There's like little things that I can see people would rage about. We'll get into more of those things in a little bit later. But I tested out the Hammer Burst today, and like if you play Claw or you have like a really fast pistol, I mean, it's still really abusive, and um, I like it a lot. Like I think it's a lot better. I think you did a great job on improving it to be more fair.
It's definitely like you need more skill to control that recoil, which
Yeah,
before it was like why do they even have this gun in here if you could just spam it
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
But yeah,
It's nice. I mean, you guys should consider it. If you know, if we're talking about these loadouts and how these are going to work with your team, if you're going to be, we're going to be running like 3 shotties, one support player, and there's a lot of options right now. Um, do you guys want to go down like the list of guns and kind of talk about them?
you
Starting
start
weapons.
with rifles.
Yeah.
Can you talk about it all?
First I just want to say like what I'm really happy is back personally is the blind fire snipe. I love it. You can just line up that crosshair right off the bat, shoot it straight, get a dude in the dome. You quick scope finally. It's just like Gears 1 almost back in the day, except Gears 1 was obviously way harder. I love it. The problem I have with the melee though is what I was trying to say. I think I was talking about it yesterday on Twitter. Is that I don't have a problem with the melee being in the game and somewhat effective, but I don't think that it's pretty. I don't think that it should be just 2-piece kill. I feel like if you stun somebody, you should definitely not be able to shoot them instantly right after the melee. Like you can't even react to it. As soon as
Yeah.
you get stunned, you're basically dead. Like that's all there is to it. So I see people like running at you like almost hours after the game came out. People are figuring it out, and they're just running right at you instantly, going for the melee, just ignoring the shot. I see people up in corners and pre-firing with a melee, like they're not even shooting. They just up a melee, hoping you're there. Like it's getting really bad, really fast.
I got a couple of things to say on that. The first thing is I'm wondering. I'm sure all of you remember this because pretty sure almost all of us were around in Gal 1 days. Guys, remember how when like people would just melee when you were playing online, go for a 2-piece, you go to land, and then it does nothing. So I'm wondering like if that has any effect, if that's at all different. So like if like maybe for example if you're playing at a tournament or something like that, and you go for a 2-piece, if that shot doesn't come out right away. Also, online, a lot of people have been already figuring out how to counter it. Honestly, like if you're not that damaged and someone melees you, what people have been doing is they just melee them back, and then you just can cancel it right away, and then just 2-piece them right back when they go for it. If they're literally right in front of you, but you have to do it really quick, or else it's not going to work.
The issue is exactly what Rob said with that though. Like after you melee, like you wall bounce and then you just get out of the way. So like if you initiate the melee, it's like melee wall bounce melee. Like
Yep.
you can kill someone doing that, or melee wall bounce shot,
Mhm.
and it's like so ridiculous.
Yeah,
You can get like insane clutches. Just like you'll have literally 1v2, and if you land your wall bounces and melees right, like you get out of that unscathed. I mean, it comes down to movement, which is like where this huge skill gap comes in the Gears, and some new players get frustrated with Gears because the movement is something you got to get adjusted to. But I mean, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have really tried it, but you can do it with that breach shot like crazy. You can just run right at people, melee, and it's almost instantly lined up on the body, and just shoot. Whether you get a headshot or even hit the body, they're dead.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
with Genesis.
Yeah.
He was doing that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting really, really, really bad. Like as soon as people realized it was back, that's all they're doing. But I mean, I do love the game overall. Like it's really fun. It's the most fun I've had on a Gears in a long time, probably since Gears 1.
So here's just one thing I want to throw out is that a lot of people before playing the game felt like because of the loadout system and because of the on-screen reticle crosshair, whatever people are used to calling it, that the game was going to be easier, noob friendly. Would you guys agree with that? First, let me ask the question. Would you guys agree with that statement?
No.
No.
I said from the get-go that reticule meant nothing. You either hit your shots and you win your fights, or you don't and you get killed.
Okay, in terms of difficulty, where would you rate this game of the past 3 that we've played so far?
I think it's harder than Gao 3 and Gao 2. I think the skill gap is one of the highest skill bouts we've seen since Gao 1. So I would say it's Gao 1-like, but with Gao 3 movement, if that makes any sense.
I would say it's the easiest game to pick up in the Gears.
I agree with him on that. I mean, just because of the elements that they added to it.
Yeah.
Like like when I talked to Quinn at PAX, it was about like they did things to like kind of bridge like there's a 6-year difference between the rest, like people who've started in Gal 1 and come all the way up to Judgment. So they're like, they've kind of bridged the gap with like the movement and like the weapons and kind of the loadout and kind of simplified everything and kind of like the control scheme and all that. So I mean, like the higher tier skill gap is still there, like, but like the basis, it's a little bit easier on the lower levels. Like if you're picking up the game for the first time, it's not as difficult as it would be if like we gave someone Gal 1 and said, here, you go play this and see how well you do.
See, now I'm more in line with what Fatal said. I guess the accessibility is there, but not because of gameplay. I feel like if you watch a new player play Gears 1 to 3, it doesn't matter. Like they're walking around the map, they don't know how to move. And one of the biggest things I think in Gears that separates players is movement. And so the fact that this has Gears 3-like movement, but more fluid, plus the I guess the lack of stopping power and the overall fluidness of how you can kind of react on people with your shots, it makes it either as skillful or more skillful than Gears of War 1. Like this is by far, in my opinion, the most difficult Gears to actually get into because the pace is faster. Now you can play Overrun, you can play something like that and be like, oh, okay, I'm fine in this game mode because the pace of that is much slower. But if you try to hop into traditional multiplayer and you're expecting to just dominate on people, like you get against some really good players, they're controlling power weapons, they're zipping around the map, you can't follow them because they're falling off of ledges, you lose track of people completely. And so that map awareness, that movement makes it 10 times, I think, more skillful than the previous two titles and probably around the same level as Gears, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. It's a little easier to pick up on. You know, I liked it. I did that. But I feel like it's really hard to master. And not to mention, I feel like teamwork is way more important in this Gears than it has been in any of the others. I really do. I mean, going solo now is even harder, which kind of sucks because it's the same old matchmaking system. I mean, it doesn't really match you up that well. It just kind of throws you in. I mean, we were playing 5s last night. I had a solid group of 5s. You know, me, Yuli, and everybody. And we just kept getting thrown into ranked matches with individual people, just all grouped up. So, I mean, it's not really fair because, I mean, we hop in and typically we're just going to tear them apart, even if we're just messing around because they're not really working together. We're not really getting matched up with other groups.
Fatal, you could talk about matchmaking today. I don't want to get worked up. I'm keeping my blood pressure down today.
Keeping it down? You want to stay at 110
today.
Over 80 today? Around there?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, also.
All right, so I guess I'll take it. I guess I'll take it from here.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead first.
The other big thing, obviously driving everybody nuts, 4 maps. Like it's just, it sucks. You know, it's not.
That'll probably get my blood pressure up.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's not terrible because the maps actually aren't awful. I mean,
Rig is terrible. Rig is terrible. Fucking terrible.
Okay, Rig's not great.
Oh, all right, that's it. I've started. How are you going to release 4 maps and 3 of them, well, 1 of them is really good, 2 of them are average, 1 of them is fucking terrible. How are you going to do that? If you're going to release 4 maps, release the best fucking maps you can possibly release.
Yep.
I mean,
that's what we were talking about last week when we were saying we hope less is more. That wasn't really the case with the maps. I mean, Rig's fun to mess around.
They could have ported, which may not have played great on these new game types, but I mean, there's so many maps in the arsenal at this point that we've grown to love that I don't really understand that decision. But if it was a way for us to, you know, buy VIP passes and, you know, I got to get more maps, like, yeah, I mean, it kind of worked, but that's good and everything. You know, I want them to get more money. I want there to be more Gears. I want it to be supported, but that's just kind of like a low blow to have 4 maps. I mean, we've cycled everything like, you know, so many times by now in day 2 of playing.
Yeah, and not even. I mean, you have 4 maps for 3 game types, and then 4 maps for 1.
And the issue is, when people mentioning Overrun, the issue is Overrun's replay value per map is much more significant than traditional multiplayer. Traditional multiplayer, you need 10 maps minimum. In Overrun, if you guys have played, and most of you guys here have played League, you've played Dota, you've played Smite, there's only 1 fucking map in those games. And like, for the game types that you go into. I think Domination, there's a different map. What's the other one? Conquest, there's one map. So you're playing the same map over and over and over again.
Yep.
It's very similar to a MOBA style game. So the layout of the maps have to be identical. So the fact that they only have 4 there, but it's MOBA inspired, means that there's going to be more replay value than if you go to traditional multiplayer.
Yeah.
So that's for anyone that says, okay, there's 8 maps. No, there's 4 maps. 4 and 4.
Yeah.
2 separate game types.
And not to mention, when this DLC comes out, we're just getting 2 maps, so we're really only going to have 6 maps to start off 2 weeks after the game comes out. And it's like, have they said when there's more maps coming out yet? Like an official date or anything?
April 2nd.
April 2nd?
April 2nd.
Yeah,
well, is that when the Execution DLC comes
Yeah,
out?
that's when the Execution drops.
Execution and the 2 maps.
Okay, so but like, what about after that? Have they said anything about?
Nope. No dates.
That's the problem. I mean, how long can we wait for more maps? Because who knows if those 2 maps are even going to work?
Here's the thing, though. We all paid $60 for this video game. And, like, don't get me wrong. I know people are going to play campaign. You know, I know a lot of the casuals are going to enjoy that. But in regards to what we get, 4 maps, shitty incentive in ranked, like extremely shitty incentive. So hardly any replayability, as Arctic was, you know, mentioning. So I played it for 1 day, pretty hard. I'm already bored. And I agree. Rig sucks. So Rig is pretty damn bad. And then in regards to the other maps, 3 other maps, and they're okay. And then they're nothing that great, but we should get much more, I feel like, for our money in regards to multiplayer than what we're getting right now. I feel like what they gave us is they want to really force Overrun. So here's Overrun. Here's what we want the new competitive game mode to be, and here's 4 maps for that. And for all you old school Gears heads, here's a few maps for you guys, and there, you're good to go. Peace. Like, what else do we get? When the new DLC comes out, we get 2 new maps. Apparently, we get 2 new game types. Well, we get Execution, and then there's some talk about 2 other game types. I don't know what that is or what the hell's going on with that, if that's even true or not. So I have no clue what's up with that, but whatever. We'll find out when those get released. But we don't have much to use. Even in regards of competitive settings, we have a ton of things to talk about. One, we don't know what we're going to do with loadouts in regards of balancing that. So talking about grenades, talking about rifles, you know, what's going to be used, what's not going to be used. But the even biggest problem, way bigger than a problem as that, is we can't even make a full 6-map cycle right now. Because there's no way in hell that every single one of these maps is going to be perfect. So what are we going to do? We're going to take, 2 of these maps are going to have to go for domination. Then we're going to have to take, here's a couple maps and hope to God they work with Execution. Like, we don't even know how it's going to work yet. So in regards of casual players, yeah, I can hop on and have a good time. But in regards of competitive, we got a shitload of work to do, boys, if we're going to make this work. That's my point of view on it at the moment.
Competitively, I would just veto Rig and say we're going to make whatever work off of the maps that they include on the free DLC and the other 3, and just go with it. Then in terms of maps, now weapon balance and stuff, I have no idea. I have no idea. Like, and to be fair, I don't really care if everyone kept them in, or if they all the weapons in, or if you guys said, okay, we're not going to use the sawed off because, you know, we don't feel like that is competitively a good choice, or maybe the retro. I mean, those 2, I don't know. I want to see Marks to play. I want to see Marks to play. I want to see like, there's really not a reason, in my opinion, to get rid of the classic hammer burst. In terms of the normal hammer burst, I don't know, or I don't even know if that's considered the normal hammer. I'm gonna say the semi-auto hammer burst. I don't know if that's something that we should keep in or not. Grenades, I really would like to let all the grenades stay in, to be honest. I would like to see what people try to come up with in terms of strats. Are they going to throw down, 2 inks? Are they going to try to frag out a spot? Are they going to throw down a stim and then push? Are they going to throw down a smoke and stun? What are they going to do? I really want to see that aspect of the game kind of evolve. But in terms of weapons, like, I really don't care too much, because what it's ultimately going to come down to is Nasher play. Let
me ask you this. In regards of the grenades, I just want to know what you guys think. Do you think I did a lot of testing yesterday. Now the stims, I know they're cool and all, but that's the one I'm the most concerned about. I really don't care if inks, frags, recons, and smokes are in there. It does not bother me one bit. Whatever people do is whatever they do. But in regards to stims, that's the only grenade that if it's in there, I personally feel like it has to be limited. Because if you're playing a game type like Domination, you're getting 4 seconds of invincibility per one stim grenade, right? So let's say I got a team. Let's say we're picking a map like Street, right? And let's say the hill that we're making a push for right now, the game's pretty close. It's towards the end. And we're making a push towards Hill B, right? So that's the one that's like right in the center of everything. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? So it's right in the middle of everything. So I'm going to go and make a push for Hill B, right? I got guys on the top. I got a guy, you know, on the bottom. We're all going to make a push for it. If I take a stim grenade, simply throw it directly on my teammate, and he runs in there to the hill, and then my other teammates drop down right where he is, not only does all their fall damage instantly the second they get next to him go away, but everyone is invincible to every single weapon except for a Bushka, a torque bow, which both are on the map, a boom shot, so any major explosive weapon that you can kill them with. But if you don't have any of these explosives or you don't have frags or incense, the only way you can kill these guys that are going for this hill cap to win the game is by shotgunning them close up. So I just feel like, am I the only one who thinks that the shotgun up close is a little inconsistent?
You created a scenario, a specific scenario that requires a lot of teamwork, a lot of coordination. Why? Here's my question to
Sure.
I guess the competitive community in general is, why are we saying we're going to ban that because of that specific scenario versus saying, okay, we see that scenario, how are we going to counter it? Like,
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Like,
I understand where you're coming from. That's why I wanted to go over
I would rather see the evolution of it and see how it plays out, because ultimately at high end play you're going to see what everyone wants to do, but up until that point, like, you're going to see people try this, or they're going to try that, or they're going to try this, and then at the end of it, when you get the top 5, top 4, top 3 teams, you're going to see some very, very consistent winning strategies. All right, and that lasts for, like, I'm going to say it's very it goes in cycles. It goes in waves. So like 3 months into the game, you see this one dominant strat. Another 3 months go by. Oh, they figured out something else. The strats have evolved.
Yeah.
They're doing this. Another 3 months go by. You know, this counter's in there. This works against this. So that's what type of gameplay I would rather see, and I would much rather see it play out as being something that's like, well, we're going to just let the metagame evolve. The reason I don't care about weapons is because if you are a viewer and you just coming in to watch the game and you see one primary, one secondary, you're just like, and you don't know it's like the retros ban, or you don't know the sawed off is banned, you're just like, oh, okay, he has the Marksa. Like, okay, this guy has the classic hammer burst. Oh, okay, he has the Lancer. Like, there's so much variety in that. Like, just because you don't see those two getting picked, you just must be like, okay, those type of players they choose the Nasher, they choose the Lancer, they choose the Hammer Burst. So you could probably get away with banning 1 or 2 weapons. If you try to go, okay, it's only going to be Lancer and only going to be Nasher, I think at that point it's like, all right, why are these guys just using this weapon? Why don't I see a Marksa on this guy? Why don't I see, you know, a different weapon on this guy? In terms of nades, though, I really want to see it play out. Really want to see it play out.
I think the evolution of the metagame is one of the things that makes competitive gaming successful, entertaining to watch again. You know, new game drops. Heart of the Swarm just drops this StarCraft. You see this guy, if anybody watched, I mean,
yeah,
the Zerg player won, and he, you know, came out with this new strategy, and, you know, these Terran players weren't really ready for it. So now everybody's laddering, and they're all, you know, doing this thing. Or let's a little more close to home with Call of Duty. You know, the strats that Farico, you know, brought to the table. I mean, people are going to be rolling with those loadouts, and you're going to want to counter that. So the more options that we have at the start, the better. It's going to add for more replay. It's going to add for more dynamic gameplay, counter strats, and, you know, the loadout system was a good thing for COD. And hopefully, you know, we can just limit it down to, I mean, in the perfect world, we don't ban anything, but, you know, even Call of Duty has to ban UAV and some things that if everybody's using it, it kind of, you know,
kind of gets out of hand.
for a fun environment.
Right.
If everybody's using stim grenade, if it proves that, you know, after 2 weeks, like, we don't ban anything for a while, we're playing our scrims, and like there's a team or two teams are going at each other and there's 8 stim grenades in the game. And, like, you know, that's just not fun, and no one can really find a way to counter it. Well, then maybe at that point we're just like, we got to stop using it. I know Fatal has had experience already scrimming on that level, but I know 90% of the community hasn't really had organized games yet, so we just don't know. You know, so that's something to think about too.
I understand exactly where you guys are coming from. The only reason why I'm a little, I guess you could say, pushy on the topic is because I just feel like we're all stressed for time. Like the value of this game, like Arctic said on the last episode of Active Reload, is going to be what, like 8 to 10 months, you know, pretty much.
And I'd argue that it's better to leave the game as default as possible because of time constraints versus trying to make it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna ban this. We need this map and this game type. Like, you gotta really just be like, okay, we got 6 months before the new Xbox comes out, and we're gonna lose half the population. So let's just roll with what we need to roll with right now, and let's just play it out.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that we got to figure out what settings we're going to have to use quick. Whether it's, you know, only 1 stim grenade we use per team, or, you know, everything goes, whatever we do, we got to start scrimming on these and start figuring it out quick. Because, I mean, in regards of hype, I'm pretty sure they're going to plan one pretty soon, like they did last time. I mean, Gears of War 3, we had a hype a month after the game comes out. So it's pretty frequent that we see a hype festation pretty close to the release of a game, so we can keep it more default oriented. But the thing I'm saying is, since we don't know what we're doing with maps and things like that, in regard to the community, I think it's the most important thing that we find out fast what's going on in regards of loadouts for grenades and, you know, characters and weapons, you know, as fast as possible.
Yeah, the thing about limiting like per player sort of thing, like 1 stim per team, I mean, you know, I just don't recommend we go down that road at all. I just feel like there's too much discrepancies online with somebody being able to switch mid-round, you know, switch your grenades and stuff. I mean, it's
and
too
you know,
much.
there's gonna be some scumbags.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. I mean, it's either go or no go. Like the girl characters, that's different. I mean, we can clearly see character-wise, you know, you got to have 1 if there's only 4 characters on land. But as far as like limiting weapons, or you know, 1 Marska per team or something, as an example, 1 stim per team, I don't think we should go down that path at all. So we should start that way.
Yeah, it causes too many potential problems. Like, too many things can happen. It's too easy to really cheat that rule, and without anybody having some solid evidence.
Yeah, what do we do if we're doing an online qualifier and some team's a jerk and they just go and they just put 2 stim grenades or 3 stim grenades up?
Yeah, you won't really know.
And there's no ref in there or anything like that. Then what do we do?
Yeah, you won't know. It causes too many possible problems. And I mean, going back to the stim, I was really testing it a bunch last night, just kind of throwing it down and standing in it in shotgun fights. And I mean, there was quite a few times kids killed me in it with a shotgun. So I mean, you can die in it. It's not impossible. It's just I've seen videos where somebody threw a stim, stood there, and had a Vulcan just lacing them, and they didn't die. They just ate all the shots, which kind of blew my mind. I didn't even know that was possible.
Well, it's how they designed when they designed it. It literally is like the restoration on like your stim grenade is literally 100% health every frame a second is what it was designed. I don't know how it's changed since I played it at PAX, but when they had the health pickup on Free For All, that's what it was. Is like you could literally drop off like the insane heights on Gondola, like where Digger is now.
Mm-hmm.
You could drop off that and survive, and then keep running. And I did it a couple times, and like that's something that you kind of have to look at. Like I think on the grenade side, you have a lot of elements for it. You have like it's all the meta. Like it's gonna change. Like you can if someone's gonna run a team's gonna run 4 stim grenades. I mean, eventually, you know, they're not gonna have beacon grenades. They're not gonna have frags. They're kind of just gonna be depending on having a health pickup. But there's all sorts of other weapons. There's all sorts of elements and map control that happens, and there's no way that you can guarantee like in the scenario that Fatal gave. It's like in that scenario, yeah, it's dangerous because all of a sudden it's on this one hill and this is the hill to win the game. But it's not saying like at the beginning of the match how that's going to actually help you out, because while you're throwing in your stim grenade to go like capture the hill, like if a team's smart, they're going to wait until the stim wears off and then they're going to throw everything at them. Like
you can do nades, ink, whatever.
Yeah.
no, go ahead. You go first.
Well, I mean that's what I'm saying is like you have to think about it from like the gameplay elements and like eventually it's gonna evolve. Like people will go with like this, I guess, like cookie cutter strategy kind of thing, and kind of like, oh, we're just gonna run 4 stims and we're gonna just go run in and capture hills really quick. But eventually the team's gonna realize like, okay, well they're gonna throw all this stuff in, so we're gonna sit here and take map control, and
Right.
every time that they're gonna run into the hill, we're gonna go over here and we're gonna take the kills and we're gonna take all the power weapons. And so by the time their stims like come back, or if they die or anything, like they've already handicapped themselves, and we've got map control and a huge advantage, kind of thing.
You know where and kind of playing on that, where that kind of comes into play. Can you imagine like opening strats? You have like, okay, we're gonna go 3 stem, whatever nade, library, perfect example. Everybody convenes on that boom shot. You throw your I'm giving some guy strats off the top of my head, but anyway, you throw some stems on boom. You have your guy that's gonna pick up boom, run on it. He picks up boom. So it's like, what is one team thinking about how they're going to grab boom? Another guy, what's the other team? How are they going to react to that? And then seeing people switch nades as the time progresses. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I feel like the only reason I brought up the stim grenade issue, trust me, I actually like them, but I'm not like, oh my god, ban the stim. What I want to bring up is like, I feel like we have 3 options with these weapons, like in regards to what we spawn with. Either it's in, it's out, or it's a pickup, and that's it. I don't feel like we can have, oh, well, we're going to do one of this. Like, you can have 1 Marksa a team, 1 stim grenade a team, everything else goes. I just feel like that's going to get too chaotic. It's either...
Yeah.
I feel like it's either in, out, or it's a pickup. Period. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's how I personally feel.
Limiting anything number wise, it's never gonna happen. It's gonna be one or the other. It's in or it's out. That's it. That's all that they'll be with that. You know, aside from nades, looking at rifles, I was playing with the classic Hammerburst. It's strong, but it's really hard to control. Like you can't just spam it and be really effective.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's got a crazy recoil.
Yeah.
It really is weird compared to the actual
kind of
classic
circle
Hammerburst.
recoils.
Yeah, it's weird, and you know, the Hammerburst we're used to, it's a lot better than it used to be. Obviously, the only gun that kind of concerned me, if you think about a whole team with it, was the Marksa, because if you actually get a few people with that Marksa, actually with some good shots, yeah, it's pretty strong. Because we played a ranked match last night. It was me, Yuli, Kev, and I think my friends Pri and whatnot. It doesn't matter, but we played a bunch of kids on streets, and I think there was 3 or 4 of them with Marxus, and they were just camping the rooftop, and it was a bitch of a match. Like it was ridiculous.
Here's my question though: doesn't that to me it seems like the Marksa really only comes into play on, especially with large numbers of people using it on team deathmatch. Maybe execution. It might come into play on execution.
Yeah.
But with downs, it's like, unless you're getting the headshot, you're just downing someone, and you can't push up to grab a power weapon, mind you. So you have to get a headshot. You're probably not going to get a headshot because the animation to pick up is too fast. So really think about this. You're playing execution. Your team says, we're going to go 4 Marksa because we think it's overpowered. All right? You're playing a very good team. They're going for power weapons. They try to run up and grab the power weapons. Let's say they have stem grenades, whatever. You throw down the stem. Same scenario. You throw down your stem on that power weapon. You have your shotgun guy out there. How are they going to fight against that with 4 Marksas and a stem? Like, what are you going to do? You have to get a headshot. You have to get a 2-shot headshot. That means 2 guys on your team have to get a headshot, and they're probably only going to be able to do that, even if they're really good. And again, this is high-level play. Even if they're really good against players that are either lined up straight, or as they're picking it up, both of them have to time it so that boom, boom, those headshots or those 2 shots almost
Simultaneously.
hit and sync, simultaneously hit him as he's picking it up. Otherwise, I mean, I don't really see it working. Like, I really don't see it working. Because in Domination, if you have a Marksa and your whole team is running Marksa, unless they get a kill early and pick up a Nasher, and they're running Nasher Marksa, which I don't think is very effective, like, they're going to get shit on in the hills.
Yeah, because you can cap hills and cover, so...
Yeah, well, you're going to handicap yourself. That's what's going to end up happening. Like in any scenario, like there's a decent meta of what you can do with like your power weapons and your starting rifles and your grenades and stuff. Like, and people are going to figure that out eventually. But like running 4 shotguns, like that's okay. So you're close quarters combat. So we're gonna sit back and with lancers kind of thing. Like you've got to kind of have a mixture. The teams are gonna develop a mixture of things, and it's not gonna be like, yeah, we can run 4 of this, but in the long run, you may beat like 1 or 2 teams, but you're going to end up handicapping yourself because all of a sudden your meta game is so limited compared to everybody else who's going to be running lancers or hammer bursts or be running like beacon grenades and frags kind of thing. So I mean, looking at it like that, it's like, okay, so you guys want to run 4 marches. Good for you guys. We're going to sit back. We're going to have one guy run a shotgun. We're going to have one guy run a marksman. We're going to have a lancer or 2 lancers kind of thing. And we're just going to sit here and you guys are going to sit at long distances and we're just going to run up on you guys because we can, because you guys either have to zoom in or you have to hit all your shots as we're running up. So, I mean, like how you approach things and like it's so new.
I honestly think we'd see more 4 Nashers than we would see any 4 combination of anything. So in that regard, is the Nasher OP?
No, not
you know
at
what
all.
I mean? So it's like, I mean, that's the only weapon that I realistically see teams running 4 of, just so they could grab a power weapon and switch out a power weapon with whatever they have. But even that doesn't seem like it would be, a viable strategy because you need some type of support role. So I honestly don't see any scenario other than maybe a suicide mission, like, oh, I'm going to grab the sawed off, and as he picks up, boom shot or whatever, I'm going to just suicide on him so he's guaranteed not to get it. I just don't see anything being like, we're going to run this and this is going to be the end all be all.
Yeah, looking at it, from Call of Duty, I mean, you run 2 SMGs, you run an assault rifle, you run a sniper, you run, 2 ARs, 2 assault rifles, 2 SMGs, depending on the map. I mean, it's going to take time, but I think we need to leave this as open as possible for a while to really see that it's going to play out like that. I hope that we don't limit ourselves too much early on. I think it'd be a mistake.
Well, the other thing of that is, like, we don't even know what execution's going to play like. Like, this is this is where we're at right now, is that we have 2 weeks before we even see what execution is. Like, we're going to see it at PAX. Like, we'll kind of have an idea, like, after 3 days of PAX of how, like, we'll have an idea of what PAX is, like, how execution's going to work over general. But, like, right now, we've got 2 weeks of, like, go ahead and test stuff. Do whatever you guys want. Like, try to run settings, figure stuff out. Make videos. Like, let us look at stuff because, like, that's the way we're going to have to look at it. We don't know how things are going to work. Like, this is the perfect time to test stuff. And we've never had this opportunity before in the community. Like, this is the first time that a bunch of us are going to be at PAX together to be able to sit down and talk about stuff.
Yeah,
like, this is the first time we've got it right after the game. Like, the game is at a convention with a new game mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the first time that we've gotten an opportunity to look at the game and then go and test a new game mode and sit there and say, oh, okay, we're going to go and look at this, or we're going to look at that and see how this new map Haven works and kind of, like, see how things are working out. And, like, I think that's a good thing. Like, this is the best opportunity we've had in a long time. And I think that's going to create a lot of interest, like, not only for, like, the Gears community, but new people coming in and sponsors and other things that want to, like, get involved in the game. So
DeFace, this is just kind of a tangent. I'm looking at the chat. DeFace just said Slayer support Anchor. And Anchor, if you guys are watching MLG, fucking came out of nowhere. Like, I guess it's a Call of Duty term that just got put in, or they just started saying it. But Anchor is probably exactly how I could see Gears being the same way. That way your team is spawning. And I don't know how the spawn system works yet. We're probably going to talk about it here in a bit. But it's really cool.
It's a roll
to kind of think about that.
Yeah. And all you got in the chat, the reason we're bringing up Call of Duty, if at all, is because it just had 30,000 viewers at MLG. It is the shooter right now. It's doing great things, and we want Gears to be on the same level as COD. I mean, you just got to look at, at the positives that COD does. We can be our Gears players and hate Call of Duty, but I mean, it's on main stage right now. It's being played. We can only dream for that again. So.
Right, we're not on main stage right now. So
there's a lot of elements that come into play to make that ever happen.
Yeah, that requires Epic to really come full on board.
So just on that, but in regards to whatchamacallit, these next 2 weeks, I feel like just to go back to last week, Arctic, when you created the term, just put out and not saying that in that terminology stream.
Hey, just put
but
out,
for,
y'all.
for you guys, exactly what we mean, what Arctic meant when he said it was basically, pretty much put out as much content as possible. But it's not just putting content. Don't just take content and put it out of rankings all the time. Like, if you want to make a montage or something, that's great and all. People will retweet it and whatever. But the most important thing I feel like right now is try to abuse this game as much as possible. If you could find out why stim grenades don't work, send videos why to Cream, myself, Waldo, Arctic, Spawn, everyone else, so that we can actually take these situations and try to figure out what we're going to do in the future for competitive gameplay, so we can figure out what works in regards of the loadouts. What are we going to use or what are we not going to use? Because I feel like that's what we need to find out now, because we don't have enough maps. We don't have execution, so these next 2 weeks, I just feel like that's what our focus should be on.
And Waldo, you hit it like so right on, like dead money. Like, we have no idea how execution is going to play, and I honestly think execution is not going to be that good on Gears Judgment. I
don't know how it's going to work.
Going to be that good because what made execution so great, in my opinion, was you had this consistent, like, you were pushing the team back and like pinning them, like you had a corner, like you secured the power weapon. Or you had some type of play in a certain area at the beginning of the match where 3-4 people die or 2-3 people die, and then after that, everyone you either push the 2 remaining guys or everyone convenes, and then you kind of okay, I'm going to secure this power weapon, I'm going to do this. On this game, it's like people are all over the place. It's really, really difficult to pin people on this game. Like, I was having I mean, unless you're a team, I guess I should kind of give some context to this. It's very hard to pin people in ranked right now. Just in ranked alone, and I used to have no trouble doing that on Gears 3, 2, 1. But on this game, when I think about trying to pin people, it's like, all right, I'm going to grab the boom shot and hope this guy doesn't run off of this ledge, or hope this guy runs into me and doesn't see me, because as you start progressing, especially with all the different grenades, spots, all that shit, as you start progressing, it becomes increasingly harder to pin them unless they're in an area where I've kind of walled themselves up. And I had this happen with a specific team on Domination. I think it was on Rig. They got into a corner of the map, and they were just sitting in one corner of the map, and they wouldn't move out of that corner. And so, I mean, we were able to grab everything else on the map, but it was like, why are you pinning yourself in the map when it's so easy to move around and get killed? So I think in execution, it's going to be really, really difficult to kind of have the same, I guess, intensity. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use for how I'm thinking about it playing out, but it's just not as controlled.
Yeah, maybe like
it's not as controlled as it was before. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe that's part of the pace of the game, but it's gonna be different. Like, I think the only map that really works for execution right now, potentially Streets.
Yeah.
But because of library setup, like, it reminds me of a really classic Gears 1 or 2 map just based on the layout. So that's like my only like execution map where I feel like, that could possibly work. But then what kind of throws that off is like, from all of those different balconies overlooking the center of the library where all those bookcases are, people can just drop in at any moment. Like, you could have someone drop off the steps, they could drop out of the window, they could drop off the top boom shield balcony. You have the secret room. So it's like, I don't really know how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
I'm kind of worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you got so many options.
Yeah, I mean,
what are you gonna do? You're gonna that's the thing that happened with free for all. Like, you've got so many options to do whatever you want. Like, it's not like that's the whole XY axis. Like, we were held on this plane for like 3 games where we can only go horizontally in every direction. Now we can kind of jump down, and like, where are you gonna go with that? Like, it adds so many elements to the gameplay and how the meta will change, and like strategies and ideas, and like, you're going to see a lot, like, as the game develops over the next couple of months, you're going to see a lot of people developing new things, which is exciting to see, but you don't know completely how the game types are going to work out or are on certain maps, because like, it hasn't been tested. Like, we're in there's just so many variables of how gameplay, what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the maps, like Arthur said, Streets is the only one possibly that would work. All the other ones is just too big. There's too many areas in and out. I mean, you'd be chasing somebody for days in a 1v1. Every time you think you got him, he's gonna hop off a ledge.
Is man up rule? Are we gonna go man up rule? We're gonna go stalemate rule? Because I'm telling you, dude. If I'm playing in a match and I'm the last one,
run.
Unless you have me pinned from like 5 different angles, only 4 of you, like I am gone. Like you will not see me.
Yeah, there's so many ways in and out. I mean, not to mention, I've seen on it's Gondola, right? That's the map. With
Yeah,
Gondola. You can like roll from the very top to the bottom almost, where the gondola drops at the dock, and you're only like half red.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you can get
that's a
way out of
long
there.
way to go. Like, it's a little ridiculous.
I just feel like I understand where all of you are coming from, and even though in the previous games we didn't have that factor of dropping multiple levels, in regards to what you can do, we could simply just use power weapons to control and dictate where people go.
Where the action is. I thought about that. Yeah.
Like look at a map like for example, like we have so many examples over the course of the 3 games. Let's take a map like Mansion. Look at the small ass little area that people were fighting all the time on Mansion and Gal 1. You had the whole mansion. No one went inside of there. Everyone went for the
There's
boom
no
shot
power
in that
weapon
small
inside.
little area that was outside. Just one simple, decent power weapon swap, like just to make the map, a better map overall, is going to completely dictate to where everyone goes on the map.
So here, since you brought that up, and we haven't talked about it yet, let's talk about power weapons a little bit and kind of get this in the mix. There are a lot of good power weapons in this. Would you guys agree?
A lot.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Which is awesome.
And if you guys saw my tweet, Boomshot is still fucking ridiculous. Which,
Yeah.
okay, it's supposed to be. It's a power weapon. It's still fucking ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, like, someone could be about 10 meters away from you and they're running towards you. You shoot at them, you still die. Like, that's how fucking strong the Boomshot is.
Yeah.
And I felt like when that happened in previous gears, like, you would get away. Like, you'd be full red, but you'd still be alive if you shot a Boomshot at someone that was pretty close to you. So I noticed that it's, like, so strong that it's, causing you to suicide. And I've had that happen so many times right now because I'm just used to how it used to be. But in terms of placing power weapons on the map and dictating map flow, and here's where I was kind of going with that, and then we can segue into power weapons. So the scenario that you gave, Fatal, which does happen all the time on Gears, if you happen to run towards a power weapon, my argument is whatever team secures the power weapon, and they're like, oh fuck, they have Boomshot, you're not going to catch the other guys. You're going to be running around for 2 minutes, and you got to hope that you grab another boom shot at the 2-minute mark because it's after pickup now. So you're going to get both booms and have, maybe 6 booms to try to take them out. But my point is, like, once they get the boom, you're like, okay, I got to play super conservative. I'm not going to give them any shots. At that point, it's like maybe a 3v2, and everyone knows how this plays. It's like a 3v2. Sometimes it's a 2v1. Sometimes it's a 3v3. And it's like, okay, how can I pin these guys down with this boom shot?
Inks, cut them off. You can't run through the inks in this game. If we just cut off a couple
areas. What if
areas,
you have a stem? You just brought up the stem. What if somebody has a stem?
But when you I don't know. It just,
He got you there, didn't he?
It's complicated. I mean, I feel like if you're playing smart between inks and all the nades that you spawn with, there's some extent to what we could do to cut players off. Even if you have stims, frags, like if there's always something that we can do to cut them off. You know what I mean? Like there's no way you could tell me that the whole time if I have a boom shot and let's say somebody else has a Bushka and we have a couple weapons on the map because you decide to camp back, that we're never ever going to catch up to you without taking out some of your guys.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying usually what happens, there's a central fight at one location. One team gets one power weapon, the other team gets the other power weapon.
They split
That's
up and then
typically
come
how
back.
it happens. That's typically how it happens.
A perfect
Now,
example would be like Old Town, Digger and Snipe.
in complete blowouts, one team gets both power weapons, all right? And at that point, the game is, you might as well just chalk it up. It's fucking over. I think that'll still happen on Judgment. But in the scenario that you gave, let's give the majority of competitive matches. One team gets the power weapon that is clearly the best one. At this point in time, I think you can consistently, everyone can agree that the boom shot is the best power weapon. So you grab boom shot. The other team perhaps grabs another power weapon. They grab the breach shot. They grab something else, and they're really good with this specific power weapon. How you gonna make plays with the boom? Like, you gonna make sure that you're grabbing it every 2 minutes? Because after pickup really helps with that. But I just think the point is, like, there's so much map flow Like it's really difficult, in my opinion, just thinking about it, trying to pin someone down and get those kills with those explosive, high damage, highly lethal power weapons.
There's a lot of things you could do. I mean, let's just say my team's running, I don't know, something crazy. Like, let's say we're running, I don't know, one ink or maybe two inks, you know, and maybe two recons. We could simply use the recons to see where they are. When we're organizing our push, we make our push, use the inks to try to cut them off, and then boom, use the boom shot to make a play. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a basic example. But there's definitely things that we can do. But then again, we're going back to a Gal 1 element now. We're going back to risk and reward. When you played Gal 1, you would throw smoke grenades for either a screen or a push, right? And then now we're doing the same type of concept, but we're using multiple different grenades to do this in different ways. It's obviously not going to play the same way it did in Gal 1, but we're going to use the weapons that we spawn with now to now have a risk and reward factor. Okay, we could all push out, and if the breach shot destroys me and rapes my face, well, that sucks. But if he doesn't, then these two inks cut him off. He gets, you know, destroyed here by this boom shot, and that boom shot kills him, and now his teammates are cut off over here. I'm just saying, these are all just like, it's all situational. We don't know how this is going to play out at all until we start playing it out. But there's multiple different ways that this can all play out. It's going to be crazy. But like I said, I have to head out in like literally a minute. But I think my personal point of view on everything, I think the game's great. I personally was a really harsh critiquer before, you know, the game came out, trying to get through to Epic as much as possible.
You believe now.
I'm just gonna say that I believe. We talked about this on Twitter earlier today.
I'm fucking Morpheus for all haters right now. Fucking Morpheus.
I think the game does have potential, but I think the most important thing is, you know, Epic did what they can do, and now I feel like we need to do what we need to do. The community, everyone's got to start sending us everything they can. You know, every time you feel like you got bullshitted, send it to me. Send it to everybody else. You know, show us what's good, what's not good, so we can figure out what we're going to do in regards of these loadouts over the next 2 weeks, so we can figure out what loadouts we're going to use and which ones we're not. And hopefully maybe we can use all of them. But I feel like that's where we need to go right now. In regards to maps, we'll see. I mean, I'm not even thinking about maps yet. I'm just thinking about only loadouts of what we're going to do. And yeah, I do think the game has a lot of potential. I think a lot of the weapons are really balanced. I like the new power weapons. The Booshka is pretty much always what I wanted, with like a bouncing torque. So I think that's awesome. So yeah, I think the game has potential. And I guess I'll let you guys do your thing. And I think you got someone else coming in, right? Since I got to head out.
Yeah, I got Yuli. He's gonna hop in now in your place.
All right, yeah. So but yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure. So I couldn't talk more, but yeah. I guess I'll catch you guys next week, all right?
All right, man.
Yep. All right, see you, man.
All right, love all you guys. See you. Peace. Bye, stream. Love you all.
Joe,
I just want to say that I am absolutely terrible with like figuring out that Booshka right now. Like I couldn't hit the broadside of a bomb. Like I can kind of figure out like the aiming like elements for it, but I'm just like all over the like I'm shooting it at people, and then I'm like I don't know like the blast radius or anything yet, and I haven't really picked it up. I think I picked it up like 3 times total.
Booshka is the best power weapon they've introduced. Like it's so good. It's so good.
It's good.
I love it. I really love it.
It's montage weapon right now.
Yeah, I just haven't really gotten that opportunity to sit out and test it, so it's kind of that.
Well, they have a special event right now if you want to work with the breach shot. It's like all breach shot and spot grenades, so they're.
I did play that this morning, and I have to say, when I got to use that on Quinn, it was probably the funnest time in the world, because I took his head off like across the map on Gondola, and Quinn just sat there and looked across the gameplay center at PAX and glared at me. But I mean, like, I love the breach shot. I think that, like, finally a like high-powered rifle that, you know, it has a risk and reward factor to it too. Like,
yeah,
you either get a headshot or you're never gonna really hit like two. Like, I've never consistently hit like 2 perfect shots with that, just because of how much the movement is and how you can move around and like evade that kind of thing. So
I don't have a problem with the breach shot or the mark set or the long shot. My issue, I think, with them is just that why the fuck are there 3 sniper rifles in the game? Like, I bring this point up every time someone starts talking about the breach shot. Like, why are there 3 sniper rifles in the game? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. And you know, the breach shot offers some very good and funny I think and skillful shots, but I have a hard time swallowing that there's 3 snipers in the game. I just really do.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get over that.
No, yeah, I feel like there's too many snipers. So, like, I don't really think the Marksa is even really necessary. I don't know why it was really put in or what the point of it was. I like the breach shot a lot. It's really good. It's a good sniper rifle, but it kind of kills the point of the classic sniper because it's so much better, and it's there as a power weapon pickup on every map that, you know, the classic sniper is. So I don't know why you need 2 different ones, because nobody's ever going to go for the classic.
And in my opinion, the Marksa, I feel like I can outsnipe a long shot player with the Marksa.
Yeah.
You
I
can
feel like
because you can follow your shots faster with that one.
Yeah, and there's no recoil. Like if you're zoom, let's say he's zoom, you're zoom, there's no recoil. It's just like boom, boom. So I don't know. I'm really torn with them deciding that, hey, 3 snipers is an excellent idea. What? Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Mind blowing.
Yuli, are you in here?
Hey man, what's up?
What's going on, man? Do you have anything you want to
So what have
touch
you guys
base
covered
on?
so far?
I've just been going on rants, you know, covering everything.
You guys
know,
cover
We're on power weapons right now, but
you're on power weapons right now?
yeah.
No, that Marska sniper rifle, man. I think that thing is way easier to use than the breach shot, and it's way. This shot's just the way you could just spam shots and just go left, right, if you got to zoom in, and the accuracy on it is ridiculous. The breach shot, like, it's good, but the distance with the breach shot is just, I don't know. I think that sniper rifle is made for like montage clips. I swear.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like it when you get a headshot with it, and like Quinn said, like when we were at PAX, it's like when you get a headshot with a breach shot, you feel great because it's just like it doesn't have a scope on it, so it's just like this awesome, like, oh my god, I got a headshot.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy the shit out of it. I go for that every map. I tell everybody, just give me the breach shot, go away. I get breach shot, boom shield combos. I'll just walk around destroying kids. It's a lot of fun. It really is. I love it, but it's a little ridiculous. The breach shot, it's crazy.
So here's one I want to talk about, and let me preface this before I go into it. As a pickup power weapon, I feel like power weapons need to be strong. It's a power weapon, right? So I just want to say that for the stream. A power weapon needs to be strong. And you think about the boom shot again. Number 1, Supreme Commander, King Supreme Commander in the boom shot. It's the best weapon ever. The rest of the weapons need to be strong, right? So thinking about power weapons, I think you guys can all agree the breach shot is pretty damn good.
Yep.
All right. The long shot, not very good.
It's all right.
Half.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
all right.
it's like,
Not very
it doesn't
good.
It won't dictate the flow of combat. That's, I mean, it's not going to be gameplay changing. It's not like a torque or a boom
It's
shot.
not like the breach
It
shot.
hasn't been good in 3 games.
It's true. I mean, yeah.
It hasn't been good since Gears 1, since they took out the active down, and now it's like, well, there's no down, so that.
I think execution it's a lot better than these game types.
Yeah, but if execution, you look at the layouts on the maps, there's a breach shot, so why the hell do I want a long
The
shot?
thing about execution, what I was thinking about, like, right now I think execution is like going to be so different when it's introduced with the maps we're playing on, because these are not execution maps. So like that's why I'm not ruling out execution at all. I'm super excited it's coming, but like just be prepared. It's going to be very different based on the current maps, jumping down buildings and things, a lot of chasing. So if they introduce like the newer maps as more execution linear, what we're used to in Gears, then execution will probably be a little more viable.
But Rob, here's the thing though. Like, this is what I was saying with the Marksa. Like, I feel like, and I don't snipe that much. I feel like with the Marksa, I can out snipe someone with a long shot, like consistently. So why would you even go? Why would you even go out of your way to go pick up a long shot? If you're the sniper on the team, why not just go Marksa? At that point, then it just becomes a 2-sniper game. So that's my point with this, is like, why have a 3rd sniper? Like, the Marksa is better than the long shot.
Yep.
I feel like the long shot's just because it's kind of there, because it's always been there.
It has to been there?
Yeah, it's always been there, so they can't really get rid of it.
They added the penetration to it.
Yeah.
Right? There's like more power weapons, so maybe like we're considering these as, you know, kind of like mid to high level power weapons. I mean, there's more weapons. It's not like just 2. It's not like all right, Old Town, we're going digger or snipe. There's more. So kind of get, drop your pistol, and you got like two guys on your team in a given map holding power weapons, on their sidearm. So I don't know. There's just more guns to play with now. So they added like an extra thing to pick up.
Yeah, I just don't see the point in that one. Moving on, and this is the one that I think a lot of has people like, oh my god, it's so strong. Again, power weapons need to be power weapons, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Scorcher.
Oof.
Why are people bitching about the Scorcher? Like,
they haven't changed it in 2 games from what they.
I don't understand how you can be upset if you get killed by a power weapon. Like, it's a fucking flamethrower, for one. It's a flamethrower, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why you would be mad about it. If you think it's OP, grab it. It's a power weapon. Like, why are you fighting over the boom shot if you feel that the Scorcher is OP?
I think the
Right?
problem is people don't look at it as a legitimate power weapon. They think it's just silly and like they don't respect it. So they'll try to run in with the shotgun thing, and they're just going to take the dude out, and it just melts them. But it's like,
yeah, I've been melting people,
Yeah.
smelting them. I've been smelting people with the Scorcher. I just don't. Why are you complaining about the Scorcher? It's a power weapon.
yeah, they just don't. They don't respect it. That's the thing. They don't respect it. They never really liked it. They never took it serious as a power weapon because if you look at the past 2, what was it? It was in Gears 2 first. Was that it?
Yeah, Gears 2.
Yeah, Gears 2. It was never really taken seriously. It was just there. I mean, you never really did anything with it.
Yeah.
Sure,
It was never that great.
And it was scary as shit. And run down a hallway, and all of a sudden you get hit by a freaking active
Yeah.
Scorcher.
Yeah, that was about it. But I mean, everywhere else was just like it was just kind of there. So like now in Gears Judgment, it's actually really good and useful if you can get in range.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
I mean, you can run away from it. It's
You
not.
can run away from
yeah.
it. You can Lancer a Scorcher, dude. I mean, any rifle beats the Scorcher. It's like once you get in a Nasher play, and I feel like this is the kind of thing with Gears that kind of upsets me. It's like if you interrupt the flow of a Nasher 1v1 or someone that wants to kill with the Nasher, like if you interrupt that process at all consistently,
There's
they
a
get
complaint.
pissed off.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They get pissed off.
There's
So if
rage.
you kill someone, again, Nasher versus Nasher, oh, you were sponging. Nasher versus stem guy, oh, you used the stem, fucking bitch. Nasher versus Scorcher, oh, the Scorcher's fucking OP because I can't Nash you. Like, it's a fucking power weapon. Like,
It's the melee power weapon. It's the
Yeah.
close combat power weapon.
Come on.
Yeah. And it excels
Oh.
it excels where it needs to. It's close quarters. Like there should be no reason to complain about it. It's not like this flamethrower shoots out 100 feet and can hook around a corner and hit you in the face. I mean, come on. I mean,
It's not the
it excels. It's like the third like close quarters combat. You've got a sawed off, and you've got a Nasher, and you've got a Scorcher. Like the Scorcher's gonna beat the 2 other things. It's like it's a better all-around weapon. It's got more range and it's got more damage over time, and it's consistent. You don't like that's the thing. It's like it's a power weapon for close quarters combat. If you see someone with a Scorcher coming towards you in close quarters combat, my first thing is you start backpedaling and finding another option,
Right.
and then try to get around him. Like you just don't sit there and keep running toward. Like that's like when you saw a team on Gears 3 with active Lancer, like running straight at him with a shotgun, hoping to God that you
Right.
somehow survived the wall.
Oh my
of fire.
god, he active me and I was running dead straight at him. Fuck this. Fuck this Lancer.
I mean, that's the same thing. I mean, you've got to think outside the box. Like they're only good in their own like certain elements. There's not like there's not a weapon aside from the boom shot that excels in every area of like combat. Like it's not like the sniper you can sit there at 2 feet and pop headshots all the time. Reach shot, yeah, you can kind of do that in like a melee and a one shot with it. Like if you get that and you want to play like that. But I mean, there's not a weapon that is straight across the board going to be 100% effective at every range of combat.
And this is why I think they hit the nail on the head with weapon balance. Like, it's so good. Like, power weapons are even pretty damn good. Like, other than the boom shot, which I still think is so far above and so far out of there. Like, it's way up here and everything else is like, okay, it's in this range. But the boom shot is so much further ahead of everything. Maybe the Bushka. Maybe you can argue that the Bushka is kind of on par with it. But they hit this. I mean, they really, really did a good job with weapon balance.
They did.
Yeah.
I agree.
There's not really anything. I mean, aside from the boom shot, that's too ridiculous. There really isn't. there's a counter to almost everything. I mean, if you don't want to die to this, then just don't do that. You can't get killed from every angle almost with all the weapons. Boom shot's the only one that's really that amazing. Scorcher, just don't get close. Snipes, don't let them get the right shot on you at a distance. I mean, what else? What is it? Bushka.
You got the Bushka.
Bushka, yeah, you can ricochet shots and everything. And I've learned you can two-piece with the Bushka. You can melee and then hip fire in the chest, and you don't die, and they get annihilated.
Oh wow,
it's pretty funny.
Which I just did right now.
Yep, I found that out.
Yeah, I go for the skill shots. Like I try not to aim. Like sometimes I'll aim it if they're like sitting around a corner. But if I see someone like wiggling out, like oh you want to test me? Oh you want to? Let me see if I can hit it. Like and I'll try to aim like as they roll. It feels so good to do that. Like kill someone as they roll. Oh god, best power weapon. Best power weapon for me.
It's fun.
Now here's the other one I kind of want to talk about.
The Digger for sure.
I was gonna get to the Digger, but the other one that's been like kind of controversial. I want to knock the Scorcher and then the Boom Shield out.
Oh yeah,
So-
that'd be funny.
Oh, the
I'm not
Boom
gonna talk about it because I just talked about the Scorcher. So someone else started on the
Yeah,
Boom
I
Shield.
was talking
and then
about the shield today immediately when I was like, what's wrong with using this? I mean, it's you can't move quickly, you can't wall bounce and stuff. Your movement's inhibited. I mean, you can still hold it. Yeah, you can hold a power weapon with it, but I mean, you can just kind of focus somebody down. I like it. What?
If they're by cover, you can mantle over and knock the boom shield out of their hand. Like if they're sitting there like close to stuff, like you can quickly mantle over and knock them back and kill them. Like it's not like the boom shield from Gears 2 where you could sit there, where they had that shotgun glitch where you could sit there and just walk up on a team and hold your shotgun out and just kill everybody because there's an invisible freaking boom shield sitting on you. I mean it's balanced now. Like yeah, it can block forward damage, but I mean you've got 360 degrees to go around the guy to kill him.
Not to mention, he's not fully covered. You can hit his legs and stuff, kind of.
He's still
his
vulnerable.
legs, bounce boost behind him. The
You
boost.
can't run. I mean,
Hit him with a smoke grenade.
I think the biggest problem is that people have to actually think about how to kill the guy instead of just run at him and shoot him. It's like, oh wait, there's a shield. Oh, hold on, I have to think.
The Nasher.
And you're running at the Nash. Oh, I want to kill this dude, but fuck, he has a boom shield. Damn, the boom shield is OP. 'Cause I can't kill him with my Nasher. Guys,
It's true.
You guys are
It's
killing
true.
me. You guys are killing me.
It's fun. I mean, people they just don't want to have to think. I guess like they just want to be able to just run at somebody and kill them no matter what they got. So if they can't do that, fuck this. It's overpowered. I don't want to get it out.
It
No.
seems to me like a bonsai montage of shotgunning, like literally just straight running at people all day and just getting kills. Like I mean, that's literally what like that argument's based on. Is like we're just gonna run straight at you with a shotgun, and it doesn't matter how many times we die or whatever. We're just gonna keep running at you with a shotgun and hopefully pulling, like getting a kill or doing stuff. Like it doesn't matter what you're running at. Like, but like the higher level of play, like you know that you like with the Nasher, like to be effective, you've got to be able to maneuver and move and like hit your shots. It's not like you're gonna be sprinting straight towards somebody with a Markzo or with a Scorcher or sprinting
Actually,
right at the dude with a boom shield.
I frequently run straight at people with a breach shot, but that's me.
I run at people with the boom shield. I'm not gonna lie. I want people to
shield
be
is
pissed
amazing.
off that I'm running at them with my Nasher and my boom shield. I want them to be pissed
I think the
off.
greatest thing is like they get all ready to fight you, and then you just stop and shield, and they're like,
Shield.
"Oh, what do I
They
do?
freeze?
Like,
Oh my god!
Yeah.
like, go around? I don't know. Like don't run straight at a shield. I don't
You
know
guys
what
noticed
to
that with the boom shield. I don't know if it's just me or is it I think it might be the FOV, but when you're shooting your shotgun with a boom shield, doesn't it feel like the shot is like concentrated more, like more centered?
No, it actually. I didn't feel like it was centered. I felt like it was more like Gears 3, like it offsets it slightly to the right. So then I start like hip firing shotguns a lot more whenever I pick up the boom shield because it feels like it places the. It's just me. Maybe it's just me, but I felt like the reticule got offset a little bit, but I don't know.
It just feels like the shot is a lot tighter. I don't know what it is. It looks weird.
But one of the things, last thing I want to say about the boom shield, then I'll let you, whatever you guys want to say about it. But it went from being, in my opinion, kind of useless to actually being viable, which is, again, I just want to speak volumes on how well they did with the whole power weapon and weapon balance thing.
I think that's something that they've done really well. Is like weapons that didn't have viability before, like all of a sudden are like now coming to light and useful, like can be used in the meta. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Like I think Gears has needed like a meta change for a while, and we've kind of like just how the elements that Epic added originally like kind of handicapped the meta from ever like expanding, because you know stopping power was there, so you were never really able to see how Gears was or how Gears 3 would have played otherwise. So I mean, like I'm all for like meta change and seeing what's going to happen next. Like I want to see teams like running strats where they run like a couple hammer bursts, maybe a sawed off, maybe a shot. Like it's just there's so many options. Like I'm excited to see how it's going to develop, because not only is that going to be exciting to watch, but then people like Shawnee and other people that like to commentate and cast things like that, like it gives that's a whole new excitement. Like this is a whole new thing, like viewership wise, and just the whole like overall like hype of like how it is to watch the stream. Like it's gonna get bigger, because all of a sudden you don't know what everyone's going to come to town with. Like you kind of know, like Gears 3, everybody's going to come out with Lancer Nasher. Like you kind of know what everybody's going to be running and like the basic general strategies. Now it's up in the air. You don't know who's going to be doing what or where everybody's going to be going with it. So I mean, that's where I'm excited to see what actually happens.
Yeah, I'm watching the chat right now.
Oh God.
Hassan probably said the funniest one.
What did Hassan say? Laughing at me?
He said your light counter is over 9,000.
Yeah. That happens. I'm tired.
Yeah, he did say. He said. What'd you say?
I worked last night.
The word that you meant that you said earlier. It started with an S, but it wasn't an S word.
It was an S. Oh, I don't remember.
I think he said slike.
Yeah, slike or something like that. Something bad. Been up for too many hours.
I'm just reading a list of the guns. I know we didn't talk. I mean, the digger.
Torque bow.
Torque bow is way harder.
I suck with the torque bow. Like I was decent in other games. Skyless has always been our torque guy. I am terrible. I was telling everyone on Active Reload. I grabbed it 3 times. So I had 15 shots in a team TDM that I played by myself. I went 20-5. I got 1 torque kill. 1 torque kill, and I had 15 shots against random people. Like, I don't know if the aim... And there's a couple of times when, like on, I think it was Gears 3, like you feel like you hit someone and like it doesn't hit them. Or I've seen it where it looks like it bounces off people. Has anyone seen that? And it seems like it goes poop.
Yeah, I had that happen when I was playing Free For All earlier today, and I was like, I thought I stuck that dude. Like,
yeah, it's definitely harder. I think it's harder. I mean, unless I just have terrible torque, maybe. But it does seem a little harder to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I was always pretty good with the torque bow in all the Gears. In this one, I'm just lost. I don't know what's with it, but I'm trying to shoot people, and I'm missing so wide. It's not funny. You know how you usually, like, with a sniper or anything, you know, you graze over the shoulder, you know, you just miss the torque bow. I'm like 10 feet right, 10 feet left. Like,
I think one of the amazing things with the torque bow was the active reload on the torque. I think that was one of the reasons why the torque was such a good power weapon. I mean, people would pick it up and just shoot one off so they can get that active. So with that gone, I mean, it's not as great.
I still think it still does pretty good damage, though.
Yeah.
If you guys have landed it on like a piece of the map and it just blow everybody up, I have had like double kills already with that thing, just landing it on like rocks and stuff like that. It's still pretty powerful.
And I should preface this: I didn't, with my the 1 torque kill that I got, I didn't even stick him. I had to like the cover he was by, and I was like, boosh! I was like, yes.
Yeah, I just used the torque bow like about like 2 hours ago, and I seriously hit one out of all of them. It was just terrible.
And it may just take some adapting for us.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, it's just different. I feel like people are looking towards that with torque bow because it's harder, kind of like with the shotgun.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's just different than what we're used to. A lot different. People are just going on rants saying how the shotgun's broken, inconsistent, fix it. No, it's just that it's like the Gears 1 shot. It's just so different from what we're used to. We're used to 2 games of completely different shotgun play. And now we're going back to almost Gears 1 style. It's a lot to get used to.
What's the is this tripwire thing like only in
Only
Overrun or
campaign
something?
Overrun,
Yeah,
or
I think it's
Tripwire.
only in the campaign because I've never seen it. I've never seen it on a map.
I've,
Yeah,
I've
'cause
played everything on
There was a
multiplayer. I haven't
promo
seen it.
video with it, like, you know, tripwire crossbow. This is what it does, you know. But I haven't seen it.
maybe it'll get put in with one of the DLCs or something.
Yeah.
Didn't they talk about a new weapon? I think they did. Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I have to look at the released announcement or whatever. Again, press release.
Here's one thing I'm kind of worried about. I know it's a little off base, but
Campaign.
say Execution comes out,
Yeah.
and those 2 maps just don't even work. What happens then?
For execution or just in general?
Yeah, in general, like what happens then? Do we try to somehow make Overrun work? Because, as you know, I love Overrun. I know Arctic enjoys Overrun. I don't know who else here enjoys Overrun. I think it has a lot of potential to work as a competitive game type, but here's the main problem: there's no spectate. So, how's that gonna happen?
Build super PC machines to stream it. I mean, that's literally like that's what's going to end up happening if that's where we go. Like you're going to have 10 capture cards or.
And yeah, not only that, but you're adding 2 new players.
Mhm.
So it's now 5v5 for 10 instead of 4v4. So I love Overrun. Like, if anyone has not played Overrun and you are either like hating on it for no reason or you had a bad experience because you didn't play with a party, like, Overrun is for real. It is nice. It is nice. I really like it.
I don't know how people are bored by it. I really don't. Even if it's not a serious match, there's just so many ways to screw around with the other team, especially for Locust. It's just it's so much fun. Like, there's nothing more fun to me than being the wretch and fighting a bunch of kids and doing that crazy little S-strafe and watching them panic. Just absolutely panic trying to shoot
the wretch
you.
Can wall bounce?
He can?
It can. It's funny. Like, if you try it, like, you can sit there and wall bounce and, like, melee people and then scream and then wall bounce. It's, like, again, with, like, god damn it. It's cool. Like, I enjoy it.
I didn't even know that, but now I got another way to troll teams.
Yes. Wall bounce.
I mean, I was playing
Sounds
last
good.
night. I know Yuli saw it, but like, I think it was Mansion. Is that the name of the map?
State.
Is it?
No,
Huh?
there's a state.
Oh, State.
It's a state.
Yeah.
Close enough, but you know, the first hill where it's just right there, I think that's a shitty spot. Like, that first emergence hole on that map sucks because tickers just run right in. It's like nothing stopping them because there's a hole on the main side where the emergence hole is that runs
And
right
then
through the
one
rock.
fence. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right on the left.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. They just run right in. It's a straight path. But I got in there with the wretch, and I had most likely the whole team shooting me as I'm wiggling through them all, and they're all spinning, trying to do something. I think I killed 3 of them before one of them finally dropped a turret and killed me.
I had a similar experience on Skyline, which used to be called Rooftops. I keep wanting to say Rooftops, but on Skyline I had 4 engineers on the first generator, and I had the wretch, and so I hopped over the thing, and I had been killing them the whole entire round with the wretch, just hopping up that sniper tower, jumping down, stunning them, hopping over that fence, and then just doing damage on the generator or whatever, the E-hole. And so all 4 of them sat and fought me, and it took them like literally 5 seconds to take me out. And I like stunned one dude, meleeed one and killed him. And then in the stun, another guy came over and threw a frag grenade, killed that guy, and then I got taken out by a turret. Same thing, I got taken out by a sentry sword. But it's like so good. It's so good to outplay people with that movement, give them the movement. So good with the wretch.
It's a lot of fun.
With those inhibitions that you guys mentioned, though, I mean, realistically, we're likely not going to see Overrun as a game type.
I wish people would embrace it. I know the competitive community hates it. They're like,
Yeah,
this
they
is
never
years.
will. They never will because it's so different. It's just so different. We had enough trouble last year trying to get them just to try King of the Hill. I mean, it was like pulling teeth just to
I'm gonna let
scrim it.
everyone know if Overrun made it to PC as a Epic Games
Or
free to play or just title
Yeah.
by itself, I wouldn't play Xbox anymore.
I'm not doubting
I
it.
wouldn't play Xbox anymore. I'd play that shit all day, every day.
that
with the lack of
just so much
spectators and those things right now. That's what my concerns. I mean, I think we should be up for any sort of game type, and it sounds fun. I can't talk too much about it because I didn't get time with it yet. But the fact that it's kind of pushing 5v5 or no spectator and things like that. I mean, is it something that we don't even consider right now, or should we consider it? Is my question.
How do we consider it with?
It's hard.
Barbosa even said, like, if we're going to hype as the main event, then he needs the funds to be able to get that massive setup that you need to stream 5 different screens and be able to go through all of them. Like, that's a
lot more work.
Yeah, there's a lot of hardware you got to put together for that, and then all the bandwidth you're sucking up with doing LA. It's ridiculous.
So maybe in the next years, Overrun has a successful run in Judgment, the little test run with the new game type. Maybe we'll see it in the future.
I mean, is it impossible to hack Spectate in as Pete did it last year? The way he said it,
I'm pretty sure Pete could do it.
Because Spectate wasn't supposed to be in last year.
Player or something, like, how hard is just add one extra person? Because I know Quinn talked about it at PAX, like, just to add somebody in, like, add an extra slot just to have Spectate, because I think who brought it up? Zeke brought it up, is like, why can't we do 5v5 like domination or something and have like a spectator spot as the 11th spot, like just an open spot that you can have a spectator in? I mean, it was asked, but it, again, like, I get maybe time constraints or something had something to do with that.
Yeah, but then again, competitively 5v5, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
it does work.
No, you got to think. Okay, you got to think on a big scale. On a big scale, 5v5 console shooter.
Yeah, on console though.
Console shooter.
Would you classify Overrun as a shooter?
Nope.
I think it's in a new realm. It's very different. It's definitely not shooter. That's why I said if it was on PC, I wouldn't. You guys wouldn't see me on Xbox anymore. I'd be drilling that like hard.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, on a bigger scale, like a big league, if a big league did, like, say MLG picked it up or anything, or even if Hype got that big where we had that many teams, you have to do split screen early rounds. You have to.
Well, I think at that point it becomes more about qualifying. Is lag, honestly, do you guys feel like lag would be a factor on an online play for Overrun?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
No.
So you get rid of that element of it. So at that point, it just becomes who has the better strats, who is communicating more. I mean, there's some skill shots here and there, but for the most part, it's about metagame, your mental capacity as a team, and communication.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said earlier, like the whole game in general, especially Overrun, is way more teamwork oriented than any Gears so far. It really is, because there's just so much more to it. It's not just, spawn, shoot, die, repeat.
The only downside that I think I see with Overrun right now is that there's not a lot of variety on the COG side, and the only thing you can really do there is implement new weapons. So, like, if you want to make it more robust on the COG side, you don't say there's a new class. You're like, okay, well, one of these classes, we're gonna offer this different weapon, or maybe they add a fifth guy or sixth guy, I guess. Fifth guy, and that would have a new weapon class, boom shot or something else, or the boom shield and something else. Does the boom shield counter the mauler guy? Does he counter the grenadier? I don't know. Yeah, that's how it would advance.
There's not enough for COG at all. There really isn't.
You could rotate in different locusts. Oh man, it'd be so good.
Yeah, imagine if on the COG side you can go ahead and get a silverback if you saved up the points.
Where's the silverback at?
They took it out. I don't know. It was on Island.
It wasn't invented yet, right?
Well, it was on
I doubt
Island.
that.
It was on Island and at E3, I think. I don't remember.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember seeing a silverback. I saw it at Comic-Con. Like, I did the full build at Island at Comic-Con. I didn't see it, but it could have been in there. I don't know. I just don't remember seeing it.
I remember there being a silverback in, but whatever. I think I said that to Colin too, and he's like, "No, there's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong."
Yeah, we didn't talk too much on the heavy weapons too. We probably don't have to spend much time on them.
I didn't pick up the one shot, so I have no idea. I picked up the hammer.
One shot's all right. I mean, it's in the library. I know, in that secret room that goes up top.
Yeah,
and you got to break the glass on the clock. Yeah. To shoot out. Yeah, I mean, it's cool and all, but it's not really that great.
How about that Vulcan cannon, man?
The Vulcan's fun. The Vulcan's fun.
Vulcan's good. I mean, but if you know where your opponent is and they have Vulcan, I mean, you can't really sit and cover with that thing. So
No.
yeah,
It's really not. It's really just I don't know, a screw around weapon.
Trick is just to fan your trigger to make sure that it's spinning when the team runs at you.
Mm-hmm.
I personally like the Mulcher more than the. I mean, I feel like the Vulcan is more lethal, but I would have rather had the Mulcher because of the mobility. Like you could wall bounce with that, and that's how high-level players, most of them that would pick it up and knew what they were doing, would wall bounce around if you had the Mulcher, if you wanted to troll people, and use it. So that's my only gripe with it. It's powerful. I no complaints there. I just would like to be able to wall bounce.
Yeah. One thing I don't think anybody's really talked about so far. Has anyone noticed anything like host advantage, bad lag in certain rooms, anything like that? Because
I got accused of being host. I mean, that happened to me playing free-for-all this morning, and some kid was telling me that I was host, and like I was from Mexico, and I started laughing because I was like, definitely not. I just had my mic unplugged, and I was just rolling, killing kids because they're. I mean, that's just what free-for-all is. I mean, it's just running around.
Were they trying to shotgun you and you were?
Oh yeah, they were trying to shot. I was just outplaying them. I was just moving around and like this kid tried to two-piece me, and so he hit me with a melee and like almost I was like 4-pointed, and I kind of snuck back around the corner and I threw a grenade on the ground and rolled away and blew him up, and he did not shut up for like 10 minutes. I was like, God, just because I was just like, he's just like, you're so bad, blah blah, like you got beat. Like everybody else, and I was like, I'm not better than everybody else. I'm just beating you. I mean, I don't see any host advantage. Like I haven't had any issues really with lag either, like that I can notice. I've never been like I've had a couple times where I've missed a shot and I've noticed and I've been like, oh God, I thought I had that. But
the only thing I've noticed is one of the things that Rob brought up earlier is like if you're moving too fast, you'll get stuck in weird animations and you'd like float towards cover. And then that bug or latency bug, I don't know what the hell it is, when you roll off of a corner at a certain angle, it warps you back to that corner. I hate that. So I've seen those two things. I can't really say that I've seen lag, though. Can't really say I have.
Yeah, I haven't noticed anything. A lot of people in the chat are dying for us to talk about two-piecing again. I mean, we already covered it in the beginning. It's pretty much, we don't like it. We don't like the way it's come back. We pretty much agree that it shouldn't be
I thought it was
a thing to run for.
Free-for-all? I thought it was, like, the original one, it was like 3 melees.
Gears 3 was 3 melees, right?
Well, it was like that at PAX, too, when I played it. It was like, it was 3 melees, so there was no point in trying to two-piece somebody. And the range was like, you're, like, literally had to be, like, this next to the person to get the melee to register, so we never did it.
I just feel like one of the designers was like, you know what, I cannot kill this guy with the melee, and I want to be able to melee him, and they were just like, you know what, buff it up again. Fuck him.
It's crazy. Melee,
I feel like somebody said that there.
It's crazy. It's so strong. I don't know.
It's really wild.
It is what it is. Everybody has to adapt and play with it right now. It's just how it is. I mean,
you guys don't think that you can get out of the melee easy now?
I just think it's like super powerful. Like if you wall bounce melee.
Oh yeah, it's strong.
Melee dead.
I mean, that's a 2-point kill again. I mean, it's really strong.
I just don't like the viability of being able. I said this earlier. I don't like the viability of being able to melee someone in a shooter. Like it should always be either a last resort or a humiliation kill. Like some of the shooters of yesteryear, but it's just not. It makes me pissed off.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't like. I mean, it's fun when you, like I said, it's fun when you got a breach shot and you two-piece headshot them with it. It's just fun to screw around, but it's kind of silly. Like if we look on the competitive side, people are just gonna go straight for the melee right off the bat if they're ever in a close 1v1 with a shotgun, and it looks silly because you got people just going around corners meleeing, hoping you turn the corner into an elbow. Like it just looks stupid.
It pushes other weapons though. I mean, I don't know. You use a hammer burst lancer more, roll back. I don't know. I think it's okay. Like I don't think it inhibits us from moving forward in any way. I do think it's strong. You guys should be meleeing. That's what I'm telling you.
It's not game breaking, but I mean, at this point at this stage, it's really frustrating and really
because they were at a good spot and then they changed it.
Yeah,
frustrating.
They changed a lot of things in the game that made them better for Judgment, and then they brought something that sucked back. So I don't know why they did that, but it's
I
there.
like it. I don't know why. I like it. It doesn't bother me at all, man. I'm serious. Like, it doesn't bother me.
Like, I'm
Like,
using
you can
it.
get away from it. Like, I understand people like just start like spamming it and get into you, but you should be able to get away from it every time. You see somebody coming to melee you, they're like, "Do-do-do-do-do-do," and then they melee you.
Yeah, I'm not like bitching. Like, it's at the point where, oh, if I get killed by a 2-piece, I'm like, scratching my head. Well, why did I die? It's more like, or he fucking 2-pieced me. It's more like they had it in a good place, and what I'm so upset about is they said no, that's not the correct way. After 2 games of us complaining about it, and then they bring it back. That's my problem. Why backpedal? Why go back?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else you want to specifically talk about, or look towards chat or Twitter for questions?
I noticed that they slowed down. I talked to Pete about it. The velocity of how you throw grenades is actually slower than what it was at PAX, because at PAX, when you threw the grenade, like, it was like a baseball pitch and straight to people, so you'd be hitting people around corners, like, as they're coming around, and you could time it. Now they've slowed down the velocity of that. I've noticed that. That's one thing that's different from when last time I played it. I don't know.
I don't like. There's no grenade indicator.
Yeah, you can't. Like,
and that it really screws me. It screws me up in Overrun, because you're constantly getting naded. Like, if you're an engineer, or if you're just trying to play near a barricade, they're consistently throwing nades right there, and sometimes you can't hear them, sometimes you can't see them, and I think you talked about the velocity. I didn't even realize that they toned it down. Like, sometimes I've gotten stuck, and there's a guy in front of me, and I didn't even see a throw animation. It's just whoop, poof, stuck on you. And the sticking, at least in Overrun, is like magnetized. You'll see something like a grenade is like over here, it bounces a little bit, and then all of a sudden it goes shh, like on your body, and I'm like, how the fuck did that stick on me? And then you blow up. And then when you hit people in multiplayer, I don't know if you guys have noticed this with the frags, sometimes it doesn't stick on them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I threw a frag grenade at somebody's back and it just bounced off.
It bounced off, right?
Yeah, that happened to me yesterday.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, so those are the things that are kind of I guess, with frags in general. Since I don't think we really talked about frags.
No, we didn't talk about frags. I mean, they're balanced pretty well. It's just the sticking part. I guess because it's something new. It's buggy at the moment. Whatever it is, they gotta look at it and figure it out.
Look at it.
Yeah. But everything else nade-wise seemed pretty good. Obviously, aside from the stim, people have some concerns, but it's too early to really judge anything like that.
I got a question. When you guys notice, like, if let me see how I can put this. When you're damaging somebody, and then you accidentally kill yourself, right? They get credit for the boom kill. So, like, if I have a boom shot, and he hit me a little bit, and then, like, I shoot the boom and kill myself, he actually killed me with the boom. Like, you find what I'm saying? Like, the display on screen is that he killed me with the boom shot. So I'm just curious how that translates into, like, execution for, like, the game-winning kill. I don't know if that's going to come into effect at all.
Who did damage last? And, that's I think that's how it plays. It goes off of our game actually does this. And you get an assisted suicide. So let's say I'm shooting at you, you blow yourself up, you get the points for the assisted suicide. It doesn't count as a kill. You get assisted suicide because you were the last one to deal damage to him. So I imagine a tie, since it seems like it's similar in Gears Judgment, will probably go to the person that dealt damage last in the tie. So you know what I'm saying? So, like, you shoot someone first, but they get their shot off second and kill you, it rewards the second guy even though you got your shot off first. That's how I think it would play out, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, especially with the rocket launcher, like, they got credit for the kill. It says their name, even though I finished it off. So, like, are they winning that round? I mean, it's a question that we'll find out in a couple weeks, but
yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm kind of curious to know how that works. Maybe since you're first in Overrun, or I'm sorry, in Execution, it would just reward the first player because the rules are different. So if you got the kill first, the tie wouldn't play into. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. One thing, Rob, I think I cut you off on the digger. We didn't talk about the digger.
Yeah, Digger's always been my favorite power weapon since it was introduced, and I'm still loving it. It really didn't change much. I'm always going for trick shots with it. It's super fun, and I think it's going to see a good amount of play and domination, flushing people out of hills. Execution, the speed of the game, I don't know. But, I mean, it's still great. I like it.
The digger, I think they increased the movement speed on it, like how fast it moves underground, so it's actually faster now than it was in Gears 3, which is nice because less time to react, which is, I thought that was cool when they told me about that, because digger always kind of seems sluggish, like slugging along to get across the map, to hit the guy, and I don't know. I think it was a good change for it. I've used it a couple times. I still think it's the best shot in the world is when you freaking hit somebody in the chest with it. I mean, I think it's always a cool gameplay element.
Yeah.
I've only used it on. I've used it on every map. I've used it on Library the least. In Library, I didn't feel like it was very good, and I used it on Gondola on Domination, where I felt like it was really good because it's sitting right above C. So like people are always getting. Typically, it's either your team down there or the other team. So like if someone is down there that's on the opposing team, you drop down diggers on them. It ends up working really well. But on Library, maybe it's the mobility thing. I just felt like I couldn't pin people. Like I would shoot it at an angle where it was like, okay, if he rolls this way, I'm going to kill him. And he doesn't end up rolling that way. So I shoot it this way. He hops down over and then runs away. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
You just completely faked me out. So I don't know.
It's pretty good downstairs on Library where it's a little more close quarters. And like shooting a digger and quickly switching to your rifle or something like that proves pretty good.
Okay, I actually have one thing that's pretty interesting. Apparently, Fatal Strike had said before he left that there's a toggle option in private so you could spawn with Lancer Nasher.
Yeah, that was something I was going to bring up. I didn't want to ignore the people who private messaged me that exact same thing. So basically what that means is right now we're loading out in ranked games and with a pistol, a snub pistol, and one weapon of choice, right? So in privates, there's an option to go Lancer Nasher if you wanted to.
And you know what that?
Yeah, I like.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love the diversity of what has been introduced in rank. I don't think we should be changing that and putting in Lancer Nasher now just because we're used to it. I think the pistol is great for everybody to have with one weapon of choice. My vote is to not really touch that and just kind of let that option be, thanks but no thanks. I don't know.
I mean, we're trying to not segregate ourselves as much as possible. If you use the Lancer Nasher option, okay, we're just making our community even smaller because that's not even close to what we're playing online.
Doing the whole thing that Halo. Oh,
Halo killed
please,
themselves
guys,
with that.
Listen to me. If you want to know why Halo is struggling right now, especially on the competitive scene, it's like they have too many options, and they don't play default. They have for the longest time. They played so far away from default that people look at the game and they're like, "Wait, what are the damage values? Why does this guy have more health? Why is this doing this?" Like that's bad. It's really bad. We have to play as close to default as possible. I didn't even know that option was in there. I think. Colin kind of brought up a good point. He would rather see no weapons introduced, and then at that point, everybody's playing default Lancer Nasher. But we're not on Gears 1 anymore, so I'm 100% behind Rob on this. Like, I would rather it be the loadout system than trying to go Lancer Nasher.
Well, it sets back everything. Like, we're just falling back into the meta we've had for 3 games. I mean, I feel it's time to. Like, the game has to change. Like, the meta should move on now. Like, we should have, like, it should push forward. We shouldn't keep, like, strong-arming it back and saying, oh, well, we don't like all these weapons, and we're just going to go back to what we're used to and not have anything close to, what the regular settings are.
Yeah.
Like normal games.
And there's other options, obviously, Lancer, whatever, any 2 of the guns. But again, I mean, roll with a pistol makes sense. It'd just be too crazy having two of those guns as your choices. I don't know. It seemed a little too. That would kind of be way too many options, in my opinion, if we enabled anything goes as those 2 weapons.
Is anything else you guys want to cover? I mean, it's 11 already. We've been going for 2 hours.
Yeah, we
Time
covered
kind of
this all night.
time kind of flew by, and I got to save something for next week. Can't cover it all, so
We'll have
Yeah.
news next week.
I thought we were gonna talk a little bit about hype, but I just want to say I called it.
You did.
I put my faith in SYN. Had a few tweets towards Strangulate to make sure his head was right. Pump him up. They won.
Well, I mean, they did have 3 of the people that won COG Vengeance. I mean, or that were in the finals at COG Vengeance. So, I mean, they were kind of a little bit stacked over there.
The team is just too strong. They're too strong right now.
They are. I don't disagree with you at all.
I don't know how they're going to do on this game, but they're most certainly too strong on Gears 3. Without Infinity to slap them. I'm just playing. They could probably give them a run for their money.
They probably would, actually. The closest thing, there was only 3 Infinity members at Vengeance, so. And there were Kenny and Yogurt were on the one team, and Strangulate was playing on Infinity for that one, so. We're not nasty.
Yeah.
My stuff backwards. I was like, he wasn't there.
okay. Well, if you guys want to do a little sign off now, if there's any specific questions from the chat you've seen or Twitter you want to cover, like I
I'm
said,
going to see if anything pops up that... I'm just looking at chat. Go ahead. Ken.
yeah, I'm gonna check out the chat and scroll through the Twitter again, see if there's anything really worth mentioning right now, or save it for next week because we covered a lot.
Mm.
Why do you think Epic decided to change Gears aiming mechanic from barrel center of the screen? Probably because of the crosshair.
Crashy, when it comes to like
Talk
a
about.
pro or semi-pro status, there hasn't really been one since Gears 2, so there's
Yeah,
nothing
there's just-
really.
There's just legacy players, like people that have been around since, forever. I mean, there's been no event.
Yeah, nobody has
like-
any status right now.
Yeah, it's
Everybody's just a player.
like people have the legacy. Like I say it, like people have legacy status. Like they competed, like got 1, got 2.
Can you
There's
guys
no-
speak to Epic? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh no,
realize
I'm
this.
just. Oh no, it's just it's. I mean, if we're really looking at it, there hasn't been any major event that you can say like, this is the #1 pro team, and we've had a big tournament, and like it
Yeah.
just hasn't been that way.
The
Like
pro-
you can't.
The problem with Gears 3 is hype, was going towards that direction, but the game died and there wasn't another hype, so there was no real way to award status. I mean, you could kind of say they were, but I mean it was invite only for the first, and then half of it I think was invite only for the second.
Yeah.
So I mean
and then,
it wasn't even open.
And
If you
then.
got a top 8 video, then you're pro.
I'm just gonna say it. SDA took title #1 team.
Yeah, just forget about status. It's just throw it out the window. It's not there
Yeah.
yet.
I'm just gonna throw this out there again. Made more money doing content than gear stuff. Just throwing that out there, guys.
Make
Make that-
content.
Just put out.
Mm-hmm.
Always put out.
Always put out.
It's a
I
good
mean, that's the thing. I mean, if we can encourage you guys to do anything this week, like over these next 2 weeks, like seriously, just break the game. Go crazy. Test whatever you want to do. Make videos. Send them to us. We'll look at them and try to like make comparisons and see how everything's going. But I mean, we have to watch it, and we don't know. Like it's been out 1 day, so
Yeah.
there's no real comparison at this point. We should make content. Go out there, produce stuff, show us videos. If you think something's broken, like try to show us why. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you can do.
Can you actually talk to Epic to resolve these issues? The funny thing is, Epic, or at least Pete, actually typically watches the show.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure that he passes it along to Rack and Flag. Maybe Jim watches. I doubt it, but it's not like they don't know what we're talking about. I think we're pretty vocal with them, and they know. So it's not like us. All of a sudden, all 5 of us are saying,
They've
like
never
we're
heard
just
of-
bringing this up to them. Yeah, like they haven't heard it before. So this is constantly reiterated on the forums, on Twitter. Again, there's people in the chat. I think the only reason Pete isn't in here today is he's at PAX right now. So
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll talk to him this weekend. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
Okay.
not going to be there.
Is anything else? Because I think we're pretty good for tonight.
Yeah.
Have you guys ran into the Reapers yet?
No.
I ran into 4 this morning. They were teleporting, flying, melee one shot. It was the craziest experience ever. I'm gonna edit the video and put it up so you guys can see it. It was insane.
Who are the Reapers right now?
Born,
Are they all Epic staff right now?
Yeah, it's Epic stuff.
Pete was trolling with it on launch night. I saw him do it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that's all we got to cover, let's do a sign off. If you guys got anything you want to say, shout outs, all that, have fun. Rob, you can go first.
Yeah, thanks guys for watching. Just have fun with Gears of War Judgment right now. I mean, this is completely new play style for the game. I'm enjoying it, so just have fun with it for the next month, whatever. Be sure to check out news from PAX East for Gears Judgment. There's a tournament. NJ Halo is going to be April 13th. There's a LAN that I came across in South Jersey, April 6th, I think, on a Saturday. So I mean, there's things happening. If you guys watch me stream Twitch TV/Immortal Spawn, be scrimming when I can, playing Judgment, and thanks for tuning in.
I guess I'll go next. Just shout out to all the GearsCon staff and Kenny for having me on, and shout out to Barbosa, who we'll all be talking at PAX. If you're at PAX, try to come and find us, because I have news, certain pretty big news that if it all goes through, it's good overall for the community. So I'll discuss that more at PAX. Maybe bring it up next week, let Kenny talk about it. But we've got, if you're looking for something cool, Gear Swag, we're giving away a vault signed by the Epic developer staff and a Judgment controller. Steins Mod gave us for the launch of Gears. So I mean, guys, go over. We'll put the link in the chat for you guys so you guys can check it out. But thanks for having me on, and hope to be back soon.
Oh, am I next? I'll go next.
Yeah, I guess.
Shout out to all my teammates, all of them. Hosey YN squad. Shout out to obviously you guys for coming in, making this show work. Kenny for putting it on. All of the people in the stream, in the chat. Awesome to have this kind of two-way conversation with you guys, talking about the game that we love to hate on. And shout out to our sponsors, Razer. I think that's it. I think that's it for today. I'm good.
Yuli?
Okay. Well, I want to give a shout out to all the viewers for always, showing up to our stuff, and for Kenny putting it on, and Arctic, and Waldo for showing up. It's nice to see him, and Rob always. But I want to hope that you guys will all come together when we, for this community. And I want to thank you all for just, giving up your time. And, I know we all got families and things to do. So that's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, guys, just thanks for tuning in. It'll be same time next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be covering way more. We're going to have a lot to talk about what we thought about execution at PAX, and, what we were told about the game type as a whole from talking to the guys at Epic there. So we'll have plenty to cover. We'll have plenty to cover, Thanks to the sponsors, obviously Epic for making the game, and People Can Fly, Squid Grip, and Control Freak. They just sent out the stuff for you guys. Sorry, so I do not have the giveaways yet. They're on the way. I apologize, but you'll get them. That means I'll just give away more at once. Got to make up for it. So see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, and have fun on Judgment. Test the game and put out some damn content.
Just put out.
Do it.
#JustPutOut. Have a good night, guys.